What if 70% of our planet's water disappeared in an instant? Oceans are the foundation of life. They control the climate, produce oxygen, and are a food source for billions of people.
Brace yourself, because what you're about to see isn't a comparison. It's a reality check of how tiny we really are. Mount Everest, the highest point on Earth. The Mariana Trench, the deepest place we've ever measured, or thought we understood. Now watch Everest sink. 8,848 meters swallowed like nothing. The tallest mountain on the planet disappears long before it even reaches the bottom. This isn't just a trench. It's a hidden underworld, the sixth continent that only revealed itself when the oceans vanished.
Look closely, because this is where the countdown begins. Oxygen level dropping. 95%, 90, 85, and you haven't taken a single breath yet. Here's the truth no one expects. 70% of the oxygen you breathe doesn't come from forests. It comes from the ocean, from tiny fragile life forms called phytoplankton, the real lungs of the planet. Now watch what happens when the water disappears. Microscopic forests collapse. The green glow fades. The ocean's heartbeat stops. Cut back to you. Your breath slows. The air around you flickers like it's thinning. Not in a distant future, but in a world where the oceans have already gone silent. Cities choke, skies dim, and the global oxygen meter keeps falling. 40%, 35, 30. This is the moment we finally understand. Water didn't just vanish. It took our oxygen with it. And that's why this catastrophe is the silent killer.
Imagine a continent so dry it's ready to ignite. The heat is rising, the land is cracking, and all it takes is one tiny spark. At first, the fires look small, just scattered points across thousands of kilometers of dead, thirsty earth. But then the drought and the dry winds team up, and everything changes. These forests, they're no longer forests. They're fuel, brittle, dehydrated, and waiting for the moment the fire touches them. And when it does, the ignition is instant. Flames race sideways, pushed by winds that feel more like blowtorches than air. Now pull back. Look at the horizon. You're seeing a single, continuous wall of fire stretching for more than 1,600 kilometers, a line so massive it looks unreal, moving forward like a burning tide that nothing can stop. Zoom out even further. From orbit, the entire continent glows orange. Smoke floods the upper atmosphere. The heat signatures cover more land than some countries. This isn't just a wildfire. It's a continental ignition event, a blaze that doesn't rest and doesn't go out. These are the fires that cannot be extinguished.
Here's the part nobody ever thinks about. The ocean isn't just water. It's Earth's thermostat. And the moment it shuts off, the planet stops playing nice. Watch the equator. It starts glowing. First orange, then red, then white hot. Because without the ocean to absorb heat, the tropics turn into a giant oven. Temperatures climb fast, not in decades, not in years, but in weeks. 50 degrees Celsius, 60, 67. Numbers humans were never meant to stand under. Cities blur under violent heat distortion. Rivers fade out of existence. Plants dry and collapse like they're water. Once the simplest element of life, now the rarest treasure on Earth. Rivers that used to shimmer like liquid glass are nothing but cracked, dying scars across the ground. Ancient wells that kept entire civilizations alive are collapsing into dry, hollow graves. The planet isn't just warming, it's drying out. And every drop that disappears steals a heartbeat from humanity. Look closer. These are not scenes from a movie. These are echoes of the future. A future where people run, push, fight, and claw for a single sip of clean water. Children holding empty containers. Mothers scraping the mud at the bottom of what used to be a riverbed. Men staring at the sky, praying for clouds that never form. This is what desperation looks like. The world after collapse doesn't look futuristic. It looks ancient, as if we've been thrown back to a time before order, before systems, before hope. In this post-apocalyptic reality, water becomes the new king. The currency, the weapon, the reason wars ignite and societies crumble. People form small tribes around what little moisture remains, not out of unity, but survival. And survival makes humans both noble and dangerous. As underground aquifers dry, as rivers turn to dust, as lakes vanish overnight, the earth begins to feel like a giant hourglass. Every grain of sand that falls is a reminder, time is not on our side. And the question that hangs over us all, sharp, cold, unforgiving, is simple. Will we act before the last drop disappears? Or will we stand there, watching the world thirst until even hope dries up?
Imagine waking up one morning and the ocean is gone. Not lowered, not shifted, gone. Pushed back hundreds of kilometers, leaving behind a blinding desert of cracked, white salt. This is what the world's greatest coastal cities look like when the sea abandons them. First, Dubai, a metropolis once defined by its shimmering gulf, now stands stranded in a vast salt wasteland. Yachts lie frozen in time, stuck on dried seabeds like metallic fossils. Palm Jumeirah, once an icon of luxury, now looks like the skeleton of a giant creature baked under a brutal sun. Then, Alexandria, a city that breathed with the Mediterranean for 3,000 years, now faces nothing but silence. The citadel of Kait Bay sits alone, staring into a dead white horizon. Fishing boats are scattered like bones, their colors peeled away by heat and dust. And across the world, New York. Manhattan rises from a desert where the Hudson once flowed. The East River is now a canyon of cracked salt, stretching into forever. The Brooklyn Bridge hangs over emptiness, a monument to a world that drowned in drought. These cities were built on coastlines. They relied on tides, on ports, on oceans that gave them life. But when the ocean disappears, so does everything we thought was permanent. This is not mythology. This is not a distant apocalypse. This is a glimpse into a world where the planet's balance snaps, where water, the thing we trusted the most, packs its bags and vanishes. And if the seas can leave us behind once, what else could follow?
But losing the oceans does more than expose cities. It shuts down the heartbeat of the entire planet. Here's the part almost no one knows. Earth's tectonic plates move because of water. A thin, hidden layer, a natural lubricant, sits deep beneath the crust, and without the oceans above pushing water down through the mantle, that lubricant disappears. And when it's gone, the plates freeze. This means the Earth hasn't just dried out, it has died geologically. No more new volcanoes erupting lava to create fresh land. No more mountains rising slowly toward the sky. No more continents drifting, colliding, or reshaping the map. Everything stops. The planet becomes a silent, locked shell, a world with no pulse, no renewal, no future growth. The ground beneath our feet, the thing we thought was eternal, turns into an ancient machine that simply powers down. This is the slow death of the planet, not in fire, not in ice, but in stillness.
Look closely, because this is not Mars. This is Earth, or what's left of it. A world stripped of its oceans, scorched by a sun with no clouds to hide behind. The planet that once shimmered blue has turned into a dry, red furnace, hotter, harsher, and emptier than the Mars we fear. Where oceans once roared for millions of years, now lies the largest salt desert in the solar system. Vast white plains stretch across continents, glittering under a brutal, unfiltered sun. The old seafloor is exposed like the skeleton of a giant that once held life together. Look at the sky.
No clouds, no storms, no rain. Just a dead, silent atmosphere hanging over a world that has stopped breathing. Life as we knew it, gone. No forests, no reefs, no complex ecosystems fighting to survive. Only stillness, the kind that feels ancient, final, irreversible. From space, the transformation is undeniable. Earth has become a red planet of its own. Drier than Mars, hotter than Mercury's shadows, a warning carved into a dead crust. And here's the truth we kept ignoring. The ocean was never just water. It was the planet's engine, our climate regulator, our oxygen source, our shield, our heartbeat. When it vanished, the balance snapped. So before we look at this dead world and call it science fiction, remember this: protecting the ocean isn't about saving the water, it's about saving the planet that cannot live without it, and neither can we.